Our particular research committee also hosts a newsletter blog online. Speaking of Irene Durancic is the editor of this newsletter, and we're getting ready to provide another edition in April. This is a completely online newsletter. And at some point in the near future, we're going to start posting resources for action research, places to go to get various journal articles relative to community college mathematics education, and just kind of hints about how to engage in research at our community colleges. I wanted to provide my references here just so you know if you would like to look them up at a later date. And I just wanted to say thank you for this webinar and for participating. I'm going to finish just a couple of minutes early just so I can take any kind of questions that you might have. Feel free to type those in the chat room, and I'm willing to answer anything that's come to mind.
I'm going to jump in here a second, April, and ask a question that maybe would be of interest to all of our participants.
What do you mean by that?
Could you maybe take an example of a question that somebody has asked here and walk us through, maybe for 5 minutes, how you might refine that into a study? If you just pick something that maybe somebody's asked in the chat stream up higher window.
Okay, let me just scroll back up and see one of the questions that were submitted much earlier on. Okay, so Vilma Mesa asks, what is students' understanding of composition of functions? And I stopped at this question because that's interesting. There's actually not that much research literature out there about composition of functions. So how would you go through an action research project and studying that? Well, one option is if you're currently teaching composition of functions, you might be able to, after class, pull a student aside and ask them to go over a few tasks with you in an interview setting. So one method would be simply to interview them on camera. We do a lot, I think Ying was mentioning about the video camera. We do a lot of research and data collection using a video camera to collect the data, because what happens after the fact is we go back, we transcribe very carefully, painstakingly, this video data, and then we oftentimes do open and axial coding by Strauss and Corbin to understand what it is that students are thinking, just to try to make sense of their utterances. It's the best way we have to decide what students are thinking and how they are understanding a particular topic. So composition of functions could be studied in that way. You could also collect data just on in an action research project if you didn't have a chance to conduct student interviews, which is cumbersome and time consuming. You could simply create an activity that students give presentations in a class setting to students about what they think on composition, perhaps give a real world context that they might provide to the class and present on that. And that could be a data source. It could also simply be tasks that you provide. Maybe you have developed 1 or 2 tasks on composition of functions, and you've crafted them carefully in such a way that they would reveal what students know or don't know about that topic. And just getting them to write down their responses on paper and then going back and analyzing them later would give you some information. So that's just a couple of ways to study specifically about composition of functions and their understanding. Anybody else have any other questions that I could take? And we've got still a few more minutes. Oh, Maria says maybe use well-developed clicker questions. Yes, indeed. That might be a very, very quick way to tell in a class setting students' responses to things, perhaps multiple choice questions. And speaking of multiple choice questions, one way to develop excellent multiple choice exams is to give open-ended questions and then analyze students' responses to those questions to formulate distractors that reveal what students don't know about a particular topic. So clicker questions might be able to provide you some real-time data fast. Annie, so you mentioned, how do we know that Maple Calculus Labs enhance student learning calculus? That's a very interesting question. Still, we're using a lot of Maple in our classrooms, but exactly what affordances does it provide us in promoting student thinking and student reasoning? That's a very good question. I can't answer. Research could, though. Hey, well, I think if there are any other questions, feel free to keep typing them in the chat room. We'll take note of these and provide some answers to you.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Please keep my email
I have
address,
a little evaluation that I would love it if everybody could go fill out. It only will take you a second.
Working with us on action research, or just interested on sitting in on our research webinars.
I want to thank everybody for
Maria, did you have
coming today and participating. One of the things I'm going to ask you in the evaluation is what other types of topics would you like to see in webinars? So please fill it out. And the link, which I'll put here so you can follow it directly there, is AMATYC Web 02. It's a bit.ly link. So if you follow that link, oops, I typed on. If you follow that link, that should take you right to the survey. Like I said, it should take about a minute. And we really are looking for feedback for what other types of webinars we can offer during the year to help you out with the things that you're trying to learn about in your own professional practice. So again, I have to thank April for being willing to be our second guinea pig and give a webinar. And that's going to be it for today. So to leave this window, you just close the window and you'll be out. But make sure you grab that hyperlink first.
Okay, and thank you, Maria, for helping you and your college, Marilee as well, providing technical support for these webinars. I can't thank you guys enough, so we appreciate that too. I hope you guys have a great rest of the semester, and please keep us in mind if you're interested in action research projects in the next couple of months.
Okay, I'm going to assume everybody's got the link, and I'm going to go ahead and exit this session and get back to the conference I'm at, and April needs to get back to the conference she's at. So again, great to see you all here, and we have 3 webinars that we're lining up for the next 2 months. So keep an eye out in your email for those, and we'll be sending out information.